After advising Americans to leave parts of the Middle East, is the United States now struggling to fully shield one of its key Gulf allies from the growing regional threat? The widening conflict with Iran is reportedly stretching U.S. military resources, raising questions about how long Washington can sustain its current level of deployments. As threats continue to multiply across the region, concerns are growing over whether the U.S. Navy has enough ships available to defend both its forces and close allies, including Israel. The escalating confrontation with Iran is also bringing renewed attention to what analysts describe as one of the Pentagon's biggest challenges: maintaining sufficient military assets across multiple conflict zones at the same time. The U.S. European Command has reportedly warned that it lacks sufficient naval forces to continue defending Israel at the current pace, according to reports highlighting growing pressure on American military assets. General Alexis Grinkwich reportedly raised the concern privately with the Pentagon, according to the Washington Post, warning that existing naval resources are being stretched by ongoing regional operations. The reported warning underscores the growing strain that the conflict involving Iran is placing on U.S. military resources, with sustained operations increasing demands on personnel, ships, and missile defenses. U.S. destroyers deployed in the eastern Mediterranean have been intercepting missiles launched from Iran and by the Houthis, playing a continuous role in regional air and missile defense efforts. These American warships have played a critical role in supporting Israel's air defense network, helping to intercept incoming threats and strengthen the country's layered defensive capabilities. The U.S. Navy's 5 destroyers based in Rota, Spain, have reportedly faced increasing maintenance challenges after extended deployments and sustained operational demands. The high operational tempo has made it more difficult to keep the ships fully combat-ready, as maintenance schedules and repair work have become harder to complete on time. A significant portion of the American fleet also remains deployed in the Arabian Sea, where American naval forces continue to support ongoing military operations in the region. Those warships are supporting operations to enforce the naval blockade against Iran, contributing to broader U.S. efforts aimed at restricting maritime activities linked to Tehran. The multiple deployments across different theaters have reduced the U.S. Navy's operational flexibility in the Middle East, limiting its ability to rapidly respond to new crises as they emerge. The report comes amid growing concerns over America's depleting missile stockpiles, as prolonged military operations continue to place heavy demands on air defense interceptors and other precision munitions. The Iran war has significantly reduced U.S. missile defense stockpiles, according to a report published by Fox News citing defense assessments. Pentagon planners are now reportedly questioning how long the current pace of missile operations can be sustained if another major conflict erupts. Fox News, citing estimates from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, reported that U.S. Patriot missile inventories have fallen sharply. According to the report, Patriot interceptor stockpiles have declined from roughly 2,300 missiles to fewer than 827 currently available for operational use. Defense experts warn that more than half of America's global inventory of Patriot interceptors may have already been depleted by recent military operations. The think tank also estimates that U.S. THAAD interceptor inventories have fallen from approximately 452 missiles to fewer than 278 in stock. The reported decline has raised growing concerns about America's ability to protect its troops, military bases, and allies across multiple regions simultaneously. CSIS has warned that rebuilding depleted Patriot and THAAD stockpiles could take at least 3 years, and potentially even longer under current production rates. Missile experts say these losses could significantly limit U.S. military options and operational flexibility during any future large-scale conflict. Pentagon officials have reportedly met with Silicon Valley defense companies in an effort to accelerate weapons manufacturing and expand production capacity. Reports also suggest the United States is racing to increase missile production capacity following months of intensive military operations involving Iran. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has requested billions of dollars in additional funding to replace depleted Patriot, THAAD, and Tomahawk missile inventories. The U.S. is now seeking billions of dollars to rebuild missile stocks after months of intense operations in the Iran war, reflecting how quickly modern conflicts drain high-end munitions. On July 31st, Bloomberg revealed that the Pentagon has submitted a new $67 billion emergency request, a package explicitly tied to the ongoing Iran conflict and its costs. Within that broader request, $18.2 billion has been earmarked to replace key missiles used during recent operations, focusing on the most advanced interceptors and cruise weapons. The funding plan has been formally submitted to U.S. Senate and House Defense Committees, signaling that Congress is now being asked to sign off on this rapid rearmament push. Bloomberg's report comes after months of U.S. strikes on Iranian targets and repeated defensive interceptions against incoming missiles and drones across the region. The Pentagon's shopping list includes about $5.75 billion dedicated just to THAAD interceptors, reflecting how heavily the high-altitude shield was relied on during the war. Another $5.57 billion are set aside for Patriot PAC-3 MSE missiles, the Army's frontline air defense rounds that have been fired repeatedly to stop Iranian attacks. Around $1.9 billion would go to Standard Missile-6 interceptors, a versatile Navy weapon used for both air and missile defense in contested waters. Some $1.3 billion is earmarked for new Tomahawk cruise missiles, replenishing the long-range strike inventory that has been used for precision hits on Iranian targets. A further $1 billion would fund SM-3 Block IIA interceptors, crucial for exo-atmospheric missile defense and increasingly central to US-led protection. About $992 million is allocated to AMRAAM air-to-air missiles, ensuring US fighter jets can continue to engage hostile aircraft and drones without worrying about shortages. The list also includes roughly $692 million for precision strike missiles, expanding the Army's ability to hit key ground targets at long range with conventional warheads. US officials say this emergency request reflects growing concerns over America's missile stockpiles, which have been visibly strained by sustained high-tempo operations. American forces fired 13,629 munitions during the recent Iran conflict, according to Bloomberg, a figure that highlights just how intense and prolonged the campaign has become. Pete Hegseth notes that the request also includes around $21 billion to speed up missile procurement, aiming to push industry to deliver faster and in greater volume. Part of that accelerated funding is targeted at lower-cost precision munitions, which planners hope will carry more of the burden in future operations without exhausting high-end stocks as quickly. Bloomberg's breakdown suggests the funding could buy about 1,137 Patriot PAC-3 MSE interceptors, significantly rebuilding the air defense magazine after months of heavy use. It could also fund roughly 479 THAAD interceptors, restoring the high-altitude layer that has protected bases and allies from Iranian ballistic threats. Around 462 Tomahawk cruise missiles could be purchased, reloading US and allied ships and submarines with long-range precision firepower. The plan includes enough money for about 442 SM-6 interceptor missiles, bolstering the Navy's ability to defend fleets and coastal assets against complex air attacks. Finally, about 433 precision strike missiles could be acquired, expanding the Army's capacity to strike critical nodes deep inside an adversary's territory. Defense analysts point out that the request may not perfectly match the exact number of missiles fired, suggesting it reflects broader planning rather than pure one-for-one replacement. Some line items closely match estimated Patriot and THAAD expenditure during the war, implying those systems are being replenished almost directly for what was used in combat. However, analysts note that other missile requests appear lower than estimated combat consumption, raising questions over whether the Pentagon is also relying on future production boosts and allied stockpiles.